Rob Dauster here. I got Jeff Goodman with me.
Hell no.
John Keats.
Are we still live?
Field of 68 till I die.
Get it to you.
I'm sorry, man. I blacked out.
Randolph Children.
DJ Khaled, you know the big DJ Khaled guy?
Hands grown up and in.
Goodman needs to be fired all the time.
Josh Tasker.
You're going to beat people straight up.
You know the deal.
They have no swag. They have no nothing.
Terrell McNeil.
From the bluest of the blue bloods to the smallest of the mid-majors.
This is Field of 68 after dark.
Hello and welcome back to Mandalay Bay live here in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Field of 68 after dark. We are watching the end of this Creighton-Oregon game. Been a thrilling double overtime win for Creighton. We ended up on a day, John Henson, where we don't have a single upset. We didn't have a single lower seed find a way to win a game in the NCAA tournament today. Creighton right now 82, Oregon 71. T.O., I want your initial reactions, your initial thoughts. One of the best games that we've seen this entire tournament.
Yeah, it certainly is. And secondly, I'm following every bet that John Henson has from here on out. My man is loading up. No, what an incredible defensive game. I know that it ends up being 83-71. It looks like they scored a lot of points. This was a high-level defensive effort by both teams, and then some really high-level shot making. This was the game of the tournament so far. In both overtime games happening in Pittsburgh. And my only question about this whole thing is, who the hell picks the late game on the East Coast and the earliest game of the day in Salt Lake City? I can't figure out why that is, but that's for people smarter than me, I guess. But what a performance all the way around. Cousinard, Dante were excellent for Oregon. They didn't have enough around them. But what an effort by Creighton, especially at the end of the game, to really battle back as a bank three goes in.
Yeah, they wore Oregon down. I mean, it took double overtime, but Oregon's kind of slow style of play, only giving yourself one option offensively, it caught up to them. And even with Creighton coming down the stretch, they didn't know what to do offensively. They didn't have anybody to attack the drop coverage. Oregon was kind of sticking with them, but you let a good team keep playing, keep staying in the game. This is what you get. Creighton's going to advance, and who knows how far, but Oregon had them on the ropes.
Kalkbrenner 3,
Yeah.
Ashworth 3, Shireman, terrific pass at the end of the shot clock. They made more plays when they needed to down the stretch. They're the better team, and now we get a great matchup. Creighton, Tennessee. I mean, who doesn't want to see that one?
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. I'm excited about that. I was ready for Oregon. I thought Oregon was going to win this game, so I could go ahead and fade Oregon because Tennessee was going to take care of them. But it'll be a little more fun.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think this was two things to me. One, we saw the elite ability that Creighton has with their four best players, right? We know how good those four guys are. Ashworth, Kalkbrenner, Shireman, and Trey Alexander, right? We know what those four guys can do. But I was really impressed with some of the changes that Greg McDermott made. Like, we think about him as this guy that comes up with all of these different sets and all of these different plays that they run, and he schemes these shots for all these different guys, and he's very good at that. I've never seen Ryan Kalkbrenner trap a screen before. This is his fourth year in college, three-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East. Never seen him trap a ball screen before. They did it 3 times in a row at the end of the first overtime to be able to get that thing to a second overtime. That changed the game. Because all Oregon was doing was giving the ball to Jermaine Cousinard, who was unbelievable, by the way, and just saying, go beat this drop coverage, and he was doing it. It took him a little longer than it probably should have to figure that out, but he made the tweak at the end of the day.
The most points ever scored by a player in the first 2 games. There was a graphic the CBS put up earlier in the game, and that was before he hit his last 3 and a couple other buckets. He was outstanding. I think he made some money this tournament. I really do. I mean, big, strong, physical, can attack the paint. He did a lot of good things this week. I'll be honest, guys. You know, I had to scout against him when he was in South Carolina. I would not have.
Well, he wasn't that.
This.
He wasn't that. Now they didn't play like this either.
He was a junkyard dog kind of guy,
right?
And they've turned him to an on-ball, dynamic scorer.
Size, nice touch, can shoot it. He's a pro. I was surprised that he's not. He's made some money for sure this weekend.
Yep. Listen, if Oregon won that, I was going to say the Pac-12 is the greatest conference ever going out. I mean, think about it.
It's amazing what they've done with football and this one, the way everything played itself out.
Yep.
Sad to see it go.
Yep. Thoughts on Creighton real quick? Creighton against Tennessee, early predictions?
I have Tennessee going far. I have them in the championship in a couple of my brackets in my pool, so I'm going with Tennessee. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Creighton does defensively, because Kalkbrenner was such a big piece we're not really talking about in this game. The shot blocking, the rim protection, the verticality. Him and Adu is going to be interesting to see how that matchup shakes out. But I can't wait for the perimeter matchup. That's going to be fun.
Who are you putting on Dalton Connects? Is it Trey?
I think it has to be Trey. It has to be.
Trey's too small.
But who else are you going to have? Who else?
And last time, Shireman needs to be hidden defensively.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have another option.
Yeah, you don't
have one.
You're right.
And Connect didn't play well.
Underneath him.
Shireman's got to take the
Trey
challenge.
can get up underneath Connect.
Right.
Remember,
no, Trey's the only option.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the only option. But to me, again, Tennessee, and we'll get to it, they didn't shoot it well tonight. Mm-hmm. That bodes well. They won an ugly one tonight. Mm-hmm. They're not going to play like this again offensively. Connect's not going to have two. All year, he hasn't had two back-to-back games where he's been off. So he's going to come to play. I think it's going to be a good game up and down. It might be the best game of the Sweet 16.
Good for basketball, too, man. It's good for college basketball.
The one thing about all of these higher seeds winning is we are going to get some absolute barn burners in the Sweet 16. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow, I do not expect to see all of the higher seeds win. I think we're going to get a little bit more craziness tomorrow, but we got some really good games today. We had craziness. We're going to talk about the rest of the college basketball slate, the rest of the round of 32 slate. But we got to start here because there was some craziness in the coaching carousel. A lot of people expected Dusty May to end up at Louisville. It seemed like that's where the tides were kind of shifting. And then boom, out of nowhere, Woj drops a Woj bomb. He slides into the college basketball space every once in a while and decides to tell us that Dusty May's going to Michigan, Goodman. What do you know about this? What can you tell us about why Dusty chose Michigan instead of Louisville or Vanderbilt? And then what do you know about the Louisville coaching search?
So it all came down to fit for Dusty May. It all came down to fit here, and he felt like Michigan was the right place for him and his family, right? Ann Arbor, it's got that kind of college feel. It's also a football job. And to be honest, I think Dusty May feels more comfortable at a football job. He's not one who loves the attention. We've been around him enough, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's good with it, but he doesn't seek it out. That's not him. Michigan, that brand is strong. It's really strong after their football season, too. Yep. You add in the fact that they're going to lift some of those academic restrictions that hurt Juwan Howard, not being able to get Terrence Shannon Jr., not being able to get Caleb Love in. They're going to have NIL because we know they do. If they want to have it, they're going to have it. And for Dusty May, again, I think it came down to, Big Ten as well. Remember, he grew up in the Big Ten. He went to Indiana. He knows how good that Michigan job can be. He saw John Beilein take them basically within a bucket of winning a national title. So he knows the upside is there and everything else is there as well.
Who does he bring? We talked about this last night. Does he bring some of his guys, or what's next for him? I don't know.
Well, I mean, he'll try. I'm sure he'll try and see if he can bring, Vlad Golden, Nellie Davis. He'll probably handpick some guys, maybe some other guys that are role players that he liked on that team. But obviously, he's got to go to the portal, hit it hard, get some big-time guys, which I think, again, his name carries a lot of weight right now within college basketball. The Michigan brand carries a lot of weight within college basketball. So I think that combo, he'll be able to get some dudes.
Yep. Louisville, where do they go from here?
So 3 names, according to my sources, have kind of emerged at this point. So Josh Hurd, their AD, had backup plans. He was ready. Now, again, was he played? Yeah, so was Vandy. Everybody was played by Andy Miller. Andy Miller's not a college basketball agent. He's a former NBA agent who was basically run out of the NBA, disgraced for a while. He's back in, trying to get in with college basketball guys. Probably not going to do well because he only got Dusty 5 years, which is kind of an embarrassment, to be honest. But that's for another topic.
Spicy.
True.
No,
true. You can't get 5 years to it. Dude, that honestly should get 7 or 8 at this point. Anyway, the names that I've been told, Shaheen Holloway, Seton Hall. obviously what he did at St. Peter's, what he's done at Seton Hall with no NIL basically, to have them right on the fringe of making the NCAA tournament. Very, very impressive. Are you going to win the press conference as much as Dusty May? No, but the fit might be better. Pat Kelsey, College of Charleston. Obviously, he's gotten them in the tournament 2 straight years. Dynamic personality, has done a great job there. Amir Abdur-Rahim, his boy down in South Florida, has done an incredible job.
Really has.
Turning around Kennesaw, getting them in the tournament last year, taking over at South Florida basically with nothing and winning the AAC regular season title. Those are the 3 names. To me, if I'm a betting man, which John Henson is, I would tell John Henson to go to the booth right now, go to the window, and put your money down at Shaheen Holloway.
I like how Shaheen Holloway. I watch coaches because I was a player, so I always like to see the interaction. I love how he connects with his players, the body language, and the huddle. How he talk.
It's really tough.
And in this day and age, I was kind of fortunate enough to come from like the transition of crazy old ball coaches yelling at you, telling you shut up, sit down, to like now you have to be a little more personable and you have to be able to talk to these kids. It's just a different era, and I love how Shaheen Holloway. I love how he coaches, man. So
my only concern with Shaheen is he's a Northeast guy.
Yeah.
And managing interviews, managing boosters at Louisville is much different than handling boosters at Seton Hall or handling boosters at St. Peter's. You have to be on top of it. And
he'll need some help there.
Yes. But my biggest concern there is just a culture clash of him being from the Northeast and kind of the demeanor and how people talk to each other, and the demeanor and how people talk to each other in Louisville. It's very different. That's kind of where my concern would be. I have no doubt that Shaheen Holloway would do a tremendous job at Louisville. It is going to be a growing process between him and that fan base, though, because he's a Big East guy. He's rugged.
It'll be for anybody.
Yeah,
Any of the names we've thrown around, his resume is more impressive than most of those guys. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing you got to remember. Josh Hurd came from Villanova, their AD. He is all about culture. Shaheen Holloway is a culture guy, is he not?
Yes.
He is a culture guy. He is not going, I've said this over and over, he's not going Will Wade. He's not going Chris Beard. He's not going Sean Miller. Any of those guys who had some baggage in their past, they're gone. He's not going that route. So that's why I expect, if you look at it, Pat Kelsey, Shaheen Holloway, Amir, those are 3 names that I think will be on the list.
Yeah, Amir's done a tremendous job. He would be, really all 3 of those guys are tremendous guys, but either Pat or you can't really lose, in my opinion, there. And I think Pat Kelsey, too, like, he's the exact opposite from Kenny Payne as far as, like, attitude, energy, all that
personality.
Stuff. That might be something different. I would take a long, hard look at Abdur-Rahim. I really would. He's had success 3 schools, or he could have success at 3 schools pretty quickly, I think.
The other question that I have with Shaheen, and I don't know if it would necessarily be an issue with this specific Louisville situation, is reinvigorating the fan base. But I feel like getting the hire right will do everything you need to do to be able to reinvigorate that fan base. Yeah. They're passionate enough. They're locked in enough. They just need to have something that they can cheer for. Listen, we have a lot to get to today. When we come back, we're talking about a couple of blue bloods that found a way to win and a couple of teams that saw their season end prematurely. That's next.
The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 all through the NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you get up to $1,500 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Most importantly, we do have some fun stuff coming for the conference tournaments and especially for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, and what I love the most, a nice parlay boost for anything you could possibly imagine betting on in the NCAA tournament, from odds and getting an at-large bid to Final Four futures to the highest seed to make to the Sweet 16. I'm calling it right now. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet for your March Madness needs. So go download the BetMGM app, use the code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request: the best way to support the Field of 68 and our content you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the pod, like and share the YouTube videos, tell your friends about us. It helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
Welcome to the Saturday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. It was the first day of the second round of the NCAA tournament, and we had all of the favorites win, all of the higher seeds won. Terrence, Oglesby, John Henson, Jeff Goodman. My name is Rob Dauster. We are live right now streaming. Jump in the chat, fire away, ask us some questions. I want to start with this, guys, because I think the most surprising result for me, based off of kind of where we were about a month ago, is Gonzaga in the Sweet 16, having absolutely blasted both McNeese State and Kansas. Now, the McNeese one is kind of understandable a little bit, right? But beating this Kansas team by 21 points is not necessarily something that I would have seen. 9th straight year that Mark Few is in the Sweet 16. I don't want to hear anything about anything, whether he doesn't need to win a national title.
Nope.
He's proven everything that he needs to prove as a basketball coach. We can stop with that Gonzaga stuff right now. I think, Jeff, this has been the best coaching job that he's done in his career, getting this team to this point after what they were at the start of the year. They played three big guys. They played three big guys.
I'm with
Come
Jeff
on,
this
you
one.
played a team with like three dudes. I mean, let's not get too excited
I'm not talking about this win. I'm talking about this team from where they were 3 months ago to where they are right now.
You got to play who's in front of you, though.
I mean, the WCC sucked.
For sure.
I mean, it wasn't very good. Let's be honest. It was not very good. We saw St. Mary's. I'm just saying, like, best job, like, settle down, Chief.
I know what you're saying, but
this has been his least talented team that he's had.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Anytime someone does something good, Goodman's like, yeah, but the team they beat's not fair. Who's good? No, what has to happen for you to approve a win and say, that was a good win? I like that team. Congratulations.
I'm just saying you got to put it in perspective here. It's unbelievable what he's done going to 9 straight Sweet 16s. Incredible. Yeah. They need a little bit of luck this year. They got it, right? They got McNeese State and then a Kansas team.
But it wasn't like they squeaked by. I mean, they blasted.
They did. They blew out. Yeah. You know, so, they did. They did, but you had Hunter, who was clearly not at 100%. You did have Kevin McCullough. What did we say about Kansas a month ago? They were a two-man team.
Yeah.
You took away basically kind of both of those players. One isn't playing. The other one isn't at 100%. I mean,
they just didn't have enough this year.
No, they weren't good to begin with, Kansas. They weren't very good anyway.
We'll talk about Kansas in a second. Gonzaga, they're going to get either Purdue or Utah State in the next round. Probably Purdue, but if you listen to Matt Painter will not have any talk about Purdue being able to beat Utah State. He shut that question down today. But can Gonzaga, is this them getting lucky, Henson, like Goodman's saying, or can they keep this thing going?
Luck is right when opportunity meets preparation. Teams have lost to worse teams in this field. So, and the way they're playing, their style of play, they're just pushing the ball. I mean, they just broke Kansas. They just broke them with Nembhard just barreling down the whole time. And I just enjoyed that style of play. And it's going to be tough to beat them rolling. It's going to be interesting if they get Purdue matchup-wise, because they do have the big bodies to throw at Edey and the guard play to kind of, especially with Braden Smith, rile him up a little bit. But I love how they're playing right now, and you play who's in front of you. My year when we were the first number one seed, we won our first two games by 20. People are like, oh, they're bad. No, well, that's who's in front of us. And so can't really judge them until you get to a game like they're going to get Purdue or Utah State, and then we'll revisit this.
Nolan Hickman was awesome both games this weekend. He was awesome. He was the guy that we thought he was going to be when he came out of high school. He turned into that guard this week. I understand that Gonzaga they basically outlasted them, but I want to give credit to Kansas's guys, especially DeJuan Harris, because he controlled that game for the first half until there was just nothing more to give. And when KJ Adams is sucking wind, that means everybody's sucking wind because that dude's in incredible shape. They just didn't have enough, but credit to Gonzaga. Like Henson said, like you play who's in front of you, one. Two, they enforced their will, and I think the fact that they were playing so fast in the first half, that 12-minute to about 6-minute marks in the first half, that took a lot out of Kansas. And you didn't see it immediately. You saw it within the first 5 or 6 minutes in the second half. They just had nothing left to give. But I wanted DeJuan Harris. He's done, right? He's
probably got a year left. Everybody's got a year left.
Who the hell knows at this point? Everybody's got a year left. But that dude's a winner. He makes constantly good decisions. Kansas just didn't have enough. But I think a lot of the credit is twofold for Gonzaga. They went bigger, and it's worked out really well.
Yes.
The second part is Nolan Hickman has turned into a dude in this tournament, and I'm not sure we saw all that coming.
Nope.
7 guys. You needed 7 guys. Gonzaga had it. They wore him down. They played the way Mark Few needed to play, and that's why they pulled away.
All right, Goodman, I want to ask you this. So Bill Self had a quote that went viral after the game. It's a little bit out of context. The context of the larger quote, I'm not going to read the entire 3-paragraph thing, but he said, for the last month, I've been thinking about next season, to be honest, which kind of like
every coach.
You need to.
Yeah,
everybody needs to.
He knew, but he knew with this team that there was a ceiling to it, especially when you had Kevin McCullough with the bone bruise.
It's so funny though, because I remember being there for the Houston game, where they beat the hell out of Houston, and being in the office, the coach's office after, and they were excited at that point. They were like, okay, our 5 can beat anybody's 5. Well, the problem was they never had a healthy Kevin McCullough.
Right.
So they didn't really have their 5. And Johnny Furphy was not the Johnny Furphy that we saw for about a 3-week stretch, right? It was almost like
they kind of figured him
right.
out.
That's what I was going to say. And he moved up the scout as well. So it's a combination, right? They figured him out. They had a book on him. He moved up the scout, and then it's like physically he's not there yet. I don't know if he'll come back. I hope he comes back to school. But unfortunately, I had one NBA GM tell me last week that he's been doing this for 25 years. This is the worst draft he's ever seen, and it's not even close.
I mean, you got Reed Shepherd talking about top 5 pick. I mean, I love Reed
No,
Shepherd.
you're right. No way in hell.
Yeah.
Think about the last top 5 picks. They take him behind the woodshed.
Well, think about it like this.
Other than Anthony Bennett.
In
Anthony Bennett would take him behind the woodshed.
All right,
listen,
settle down.
In 2012, Kentucky had 2 top 5 picks on their roster, and they won the national championship. There are people that are saying Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepherd are both potential top 5 picks this year, and they got bounced in the first round. Henson, I want to ask you this: you have a nice striped shirt on. North Carolina, 85. Michigan State, a very nice 69. Talk to me about your Tar Heels.
Turned into fake toughness real quick, didn't it?
I may have got a phone call via a mutual friend, and it may have been a Michigan State player talking a little crazy. Calling him, soft, saying that Carolina looks a lot. Mississippi State looks a lot scarier on film. I made the call. I relayed the message through the guy who said the ACC runs through me. As you can see today, he was a little fired up, a little riled up today. And when he started getting fired up and talking, Michigan State's looking at the ref. It's a little fake toughness. Shout out to my guy Draymond too. That's my guy. He's not fake tough. But
are you going to talk trash to Draymond?
No.
Any wager?
No. Well, he owes me 100. That's kind of but we'll talk. He's got a lot of money.
He owes me 100.
Okay, so but I think UNC out-toughed them today. They hit some shots. They got fortunate, and they ran Michigan State down. They just kind of walked them down.
They're just better.
Yeah, they're just better. They just walked them down, and the game led to, a pretty easy victory for UNC, and we'll see y'all in LA next week.
You know what I think it was, too? Like, again, A.J. Hogarth, you have no idea as a coach what you're going to get. And as a coach, you know exactly what you're going to get from Elliot Cadeau.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's like everything. For a coach, your point guard, you know what he's going to do, not going to make a lot of mistakes, pick his spots. When they play off him, he'll take it. Maybe he won't make them all. He'll make enough to keep you, honest. And he makes the right play.
And I was just saying, I think they played him wrong. Playing off of him so he can pass and see, that's the worst thing you do for a good passer. So that was a bad decision by them. Even though he didn't hit those threes, he was able to make a lot of plays and move the ball around, which is what he does.
It turns into a runway.
Yeah.
And what happens whenever you have a guy as fast as Elliott, he gets downhill so freaking fast that you're backpedaling. You're screwed. I'm going to make this comparison, and I don't want it to sound like I'm comparing him to. They were saying, well, back off Russell Westbrook. And then some NBA players like, no, I'm not backing off because all I'm doing is just giving him a head start and coming at me full speed. I think the same thing applies for Elliott because he's so freaking fast with the ball. Here's the thing. We talked about the swing guy being Jaden Akins. He was only the swing guy provided that A.J. Hogarth was better. A.J. Hogarth was 1 for 10 today. He's been really inconsistent all year. He's been really inconsistent. Whenever they combine for 5 of 22, Michigan State's not going to
no chance.
That's just not going to happen.
Got no chance. Here's the thing that stood out to me, and it's kind of been a theme all season long, but when we think of a North Carolina team and we think of a Michigan State team, generally speaking, knowing the history of those two programs, which one would you say is going to be the tougher, more physical, more grinded out, more defensive-minded program out of those two? Generally speaking, you would think Michigan State, right? It's not that this year. It's not that. Henson's giving me. I could see it in his head right now, being like, "Rob."
No, Michigan State came out and UNC accepted the challenge.
How about Hubert? How about Hubert in the time after the first media when they interviewed him?
Yeah, he accepted the challenge. I mean, UNC accepted the challenge, and Michigan State got away from the physical play.
They did.
They got away from it, and it changed the game.
Yeah.
Listen,
they're Carolina. Once they get punched in the mouth.
Hubert Davis went to the portal. Tom Izzo did not. Look at the difference.
Right. Well, look, let's talk about Tom Izzo then, okay? He had a quote after the game. He said, "I'm going to get back to a deeper run in this tournament, or I'm going to die trying." Jeff, can he do this without getting into the portal?
Hey,
Can
Tom.
he possibly do it?
Who's his first call tonight? Hey, Matt Ishbia. How much? How much can you give me? Is it unlimited? How much? $5 million? Give me something, because if he doesn't do that and he fights it, it's over. He'll never compete for national titles again. He'll get in the tournament. They'll be like they were this year. But he could have an open checkbook right now for Matt Ishbia if he wants. The former manager or former walk-on at Michigan State, who now owns the Phoenix Suns.
Can he do it?
I think he can. I was going to say, stylistically, the game's changing. And I think he's one of those coaches that may need to, from the portal to the NI. I mean, he's going to
also take threes.
Yeah.
That's the other part.
Yeah.
He fights the analytics, and he takes bad twos, a ton of them. He's got to change, and his staff, those are all older dudes on his staff. You got to change. Listen, you better adapt with your staff these days. Some of these staffs are old. They're older dudes, and they're yes men for Tom Izzo.
Yeah, and the good part about what you're saying is you can retain those guys, but bring different younger guys to put on the road.
Yeah, make him a special assistant. You got a 4th and 5th spot now.
Right.
Throw them in there. Don't make them recruiters.
Yeah. And you don't have to. The big thing for me is you don't have to go all in on the portal. Like, Michigan State does not need to turn into Arkansas here, right? We're not talking about them getting 7, 8, 9 different transfers coming in one class. But get a couple. Go supplement the roster you already have with a couple of different pieces that you need to be able to, and you can still build a culture. Like, I always go back to UConn with this because I think they do it better than anybody else, right? The year they won the title last year, they brought back their core. It was Andre Jackson, it was Jordan Hawkins, it was Adama Sanogo, right? They went out and they got Tristan Newton. They went out and they got Asandiara. They went out and they got Joey Calcaterra. And then they added a couple freshmen in Alex Caravan and Donovan Klingon and put it all together. And they had a core of 8 that was all different ways to build it. This year, they bring back a lot of the same pieces. They add Steph Castle to it. They add solo ball. They add a couple freshmen, right? They bring Samson Johnson off the bench, let him to continue to develop. And then they hit the portal. One guy, Kim Spencer. He turned out to be pretty damn good. That's what you have to do if you're Izzo. You don't have to completely readjust what you're doing. But instead of bringing in 5 freshmen, do 3 freshmen and 2 transfers, right?
Imagine if Izzo just had a transfer big and a transfer point guard to go with Tyson Walker. If he had a high enough level of both, you don't think they'd be scary this year?
They would have.
I think that's the formula. I think T.O. talked about it last night. You keep your core, you supplement a freshman or 2, and go to the portal. I think that is going to be the formula to have a good team, because as we're seeing, if you don't have enough older guys but also enough talent, you're not going to win.
So the best story of the day today was Kevin Keats. The best story of the day today was NC State and Kevin Keats. We're going to talk about him in just a second. Our producer Trevor over there, he's having himself a moment. He's having himself a day. We're having a great time here at Mandalay Bay. 3, 2, 1, break.
By now, you guys have surely heard about Autograph, an app founded by Tom Brady with the intention of disrupting the way that fans consume content covering their favorite teams. This is how the app works. All of the podcasters, bloggers, and digital creators covering a team have their content sent to that team's page in the Autograph app. Instead of having to bounce from site to site or trying to navigate the safer workspaces on Twitter, you can just scroll through Autograph. This isn't a hard sell. This is the truth. I am a UConn fan, and I use the Autograph app to keep up with the writers I read and the pods that I listen to about UConn basketball. The best part is that every piece of content that you consume gives you reward points. The more you get, the more chances you have at things like discounted tickets to games and the grand prize, a trip to the LA Regional and a spot in a suite for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. Here's the best part. We've partnered with Autograph to donate $1 to the V Foundation every time someone downloads the app using the code F68, with a minimum of $2,500 getting donated. The app is free. So download, use the code F68, help us raise a little bit of money for cancer research, and give Autograph a try. I promise you it will be worth it. And while we're here, a quick reminder, make sure that you subscribe to the Daily. We have new landing pages with deep dives into each coaching change, as well as a tracker that provides scouting reports on the transfers that have entered the portal that you are going to want to know about. Hit the link below to subscribe.
Welcome back to the Field of 68 After Dark. It is Saturday night, and we just saw an incredible day of college basketball. I love the round of 32, right? The first day is so much fun because you always have 4 games going on at once. But the round of 32, you start getting some of these bigger matchups. You start getting some of these powerhouses going head-to-head. You start getting some games like Oregon, Creighton, which is going to go down as an all-time classic in this NCAA tournament. And we had another game go to overtime in Pittsburgh as well. Jeff Goodman, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby. My name is Rob Dauster. NC State ends the Oakland run. Jack Golke's run of fame is over. He got himself
6 threes.
He got himself the TurboTax NIL deal.
Yep.
He got himself paid. He became a legend in the sport of college basketball. We're never going to forget what he did against Kentucky. Run comes to an end. Overtime win. NC State. Kevin Keats. Unbelievable. Greatest story right now, I think, in the tournament is Kevin Keats going from the hot seat to getting 3 years of an extension in 11 days.
Yeah, and it's all with his front court. It's like old school basketball going back 20 years. DJ Burns, walking refrigerator ballerina feet, goes for 24 and 11, 5 offensive boards. And Mohamed Diarra, he's not getting enough credit, guys. I'm going to keep pounding the drum for him because he's so long, he's so athletic. You think Mizzou could have used him this year? Like, he is talented. He hunts the ball. He's got some John Henson in him, just a little bit. He's not as good, but he's got some in him. Incredibly long, incredibly impactful in the game. Big-time performance. NC State winning again. Sweet 16, ACC. What's up, John?
Till they figure out the DJ Burns conundrum, NC State's going to be in these games.
Yes.
At one point, I saw Oakland triple team him. They triple teamed him.
Doesn't matter.
And he still kicked it across the court for a
He
three.
can pass it.
They're a bad match. I think if Colorado does beat Marquette, Eddie Lampkin is going to – that's going to be interesting to see. I think how you got to attack DJ Burns is try to front him. Come on the – what we used to – I'm not trying to compare him to LeBron, but LeBron was so good out the post you couldn't just double team him. Sometimes we would come on the catch. Yep. Sometimes we wouldn't come. Sometimes we dig. You have to make him think or he's going to tear you apart, which he's been doing with this team. So credit to him. I mean, I love watching him play. It's a feel-good story. And it's part of the ACC. I'm an ACC homer, so I love seeing him keep it events.
He's an interesting cat because you said front. He doesn't allow you to front.
No,
him.
that's what I was saying.
He'll catch a post up at the three-point line and back his big ass in there. Like he's such a fun player to watch.
You guys really should be taking more victory laps on the ACC, especially you. No one's had a better NCAA tournament than Terrence Oglesby. You get to dunk on all the Auburn fans. You get to dunk on everybody that doubts the ACC. You get to dunk on all the Big East fans.
Clemson.
Pump that chest
But
out.
historically, the ACC has always, I mean, for the past decade, the ACC has always performed. So this is nothing new. Y'all just trying to get off the ACC bandwagon.
This is the new ACC, the mid-ACC that we've talked about the last couple of years, Henson. Since you finished playing in the regular season, the ACC hasn't exactly looked like the ACC either of you played in.
Yeah, well,
the 20-game schedule doesn't help.
Listen, I'll tell you this: the guy that won the ACC championship, because the ACC doesn't recognize the regular season champions. The champion of the ACC is the team that wins the ACC tournament. That is Kevin Keats. He won 5 games in 5 days. He's now won 7 games in 11 days. He's now gotten himself 3 years of an extension, and he joined us on After Dark.
All right, now pleased to be joined by former Hargrave Military Academy head coach, and only I can say that, Kevin Keats, NC State head coach, fresh off a Sweet 16 appearance now, beating Oakland. Man, that game was, all right, you were sweating a little bit. I know you were sweating.
You know, you're the only one, Jeff, that can remind me about my great days at Hargrave. So I'm happy about that. And, man, Oakland is good. You know, he's done a great job with that program, and they got really good players. And so I told the media after what a great heavyweight boxing match it was. And we were just glad to make it through. And we're going to the Sweet 16, my man.
So the last 11 days, Keith, describe what this run has been like, because, I mean, it's insane. I mean, you were left for dead. Let's face it, people, myself included, were worried about your job. Didn't know if you were going to be able to get past this year. You might be on the field of 68 if you didn't make this run. And you're rolling now. You're rolling to the Sweet 16. What's it been like?
You know, it's been a magical run. Just going through the ACC, and you think about the teams that we beat, starting with Louisville and Syracuse, and then obviously Duke, Virginia, and then Carolina for the championship. Man, what a run. And our guys in the locker room, we just have believed. Like, you know, we shut all the outside noise out. They were talking about me. They were talking about our players. And honestly, to be honest with you, I think it really brought us closer together. And, you know, we just we cleaned up some of the things we didn't do well in the regular season. And obviously we're here now going to the Sweet 16.
And you got one of the most fun players in the country in DJ Burns. I mean, like, how much fun is he to coach? You and I talked about him when we had lunch before the season started, when I came down there. And you said, listen, he is what he is. I'm not going to change his body. And to be honest, I don't want to change his body because of how effective he is. And he's been able to play longer minutes now. And he just seems like, too, he gives, not just on the court, but off the court, kind of that vibe that helps the team in terms of the chemistry and just kind of a loose atmosphere.
You know, Jeff, he's like, if you were going to do an auction and you said which player in the country could I spend like 5 hours with, you should take DJ Burns. You know, fan favorite. He's always laughing. He's always got a big smile on his face. You know, he's a giver, and he gives to all of the young kids around here. You know, he brings a lot of energy to our team. He actually keeps everything light. Like, I love being around him. You know, he's one of those guys that rarely has a bad day. And by the way, he's a pretty good basketball player too.
So I've always said NC State fans are a different breed, right? I mean, they have high expectations. They want to win championships, and it's been a long time coming. I'm really happy for this fan base, Kevin. And I've given them a lot of shit over the years, and they've given it to me back. But I really am happy for them because I think if there's a fan base that kind of deserves this, it's them.
Yeah, you know, Jeff, we've got some, you know, don't let the few bad apples ruin what we have, because we got some really great supporters and a great fan base. And, you know, the internet can tell you anything that you want to hear. The most part, we've got some good people, and they believe in us and supported us and been behind our team. And I try not to give any energy to ones who don't believe in us. I don't have any room. Our bus is full, and we're not letting those guys on now.
So, hey, you got a 2-year extension by winning the ACC tournament. I just saw Luke from the Observer tweeted out you got another year by going to the Sweet 16. By the end of this thing, if you go to the national title game, you're going to have a lifetime contract.
Hey, easy, buddy. You're counting too far ahead, man. You sound like my wife now. You're counting too many numbers off of that thing.
Hey, your wife's going to be going shopping. Hey, your wife's going to be going shopping when she hears about this.
Yeah, Jeff, you know, it's been fun. I honestly, I don't, you know, I haven't looked at our contract. I don't care about that, man. I'm having a time of my life with a group of guys, and it's so rewarding when you're doing it with a group of guys that really are underdogs, and, you know, nobody ever gave a chance. Like, we don't supposed to be here. We're here because, you know, the guys in our locker room really believe, and we trust in what we're doing.
It was like back when you beat, you know, Laurinburg or Patterson School, right? It was like back in those days. All right, listen, Kevin, congrats, man. Congrats. Good to see the smile again. Good to see you lose, having fun. And congrats on the Sweet 16 berth, and keep it going.
Hey, Jeff, man, thank you guys for having me on. And listen, me and you both, don't forget about your roots, buddy. Always when things go bad for you, go back to your roots where it all started from.
That's right. That's right. All right, Kevin Keats, NC State head coach, joining us here on After Dark. Appreciate it, man.
My man had a great day, right? We won some bets here. John Henson won a parlay. He's going to be celebrating tonight.
A biggin.
But Kevin Keats added himself another year on his contract, which is just a wild thing to think about. So
after getting the 2-year extension with the ACC tournament,
he went from the hot seat to a 3-year extension in 11 days. Kevin Keats, my man, congratulations. That's awesome. Arizona.
Yes.
Caleb Love. He's back in the Sweet 16. Arizona beats Dayton 78-68. I don't know how much you can take away from this game because, look, Dayton probably should have been closer to a 10 seed than a 7 seed, but Arizona, second weekend. Tommy Lloyd kind of got over the jinx of the last year, right?
The yips. And Caleb Love hit some big shots when he needed to. He wasn't very efficient, but I was really impressed with Deron Holmes, even in a losing effort. I mean, Dayton, they're banged up. The fact that they got to the second round, I thought was impressive. Just didn't have enough to keep up with Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the beauty is, again, we've talked all year about how when Kai Boswell doesn't play well, they're done. He didn't play well at all today, and they found a way. That's the beauty of this team in a way. Like, now they figured out, okay, Jaden Bradley was terrific off the bench. Yeah. Pella Larson, he can initiate offense. I've always said all year, I think he should be a quasi kind of like he's not a point guard, but he's a combo who you can run a lot of stuff through. So you hope Tommy Lloyd's figured that part out, that even when Kai Boswell's not playing well, first of all, you can put him on the bench. Second of all, there's other guys who can make plays other than Caleb Love just jacking the ball.
I think Arizona has one of the higher floors of any team in the tournament because they can just beat you so many ways with so many guys. Today they didn't play great, and they found a way to win. And that's not going to be the case, I don't think, next weekend. In L.A., right? They're going to be in L.A.?
Yeah, so, they'll have the crowd.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get this UNC-Arizona matchup. I'm probably going to fly out to L.A.
course you
and I'll
are.
just meet you guys in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So
perfect. You just drive there. At that point.
I'll probably
That would make sense.
You could just ride the bus back with Carolina.
Right. Hopefully it's Sunday,
West.
so I can just hop over on Monday. But Arizona's good, man. They're going to be there at the end. I love them during the season, preseason. So
to expand on your point about the depth, Jaden Bradley was really good when Kylan Boswell wasn't. Quite frankly, 3 steals, 3 blocks from a point guard. That's big time. So deep enough.
It's being John Henson is tough sometimes. I'm just gonna fly to Vegas to hang out. Then I'm gonna fly to LA and go watch games. And then you know what? I'll just go stop over in Phoenix, maybe hang out in Scottsdale. You know, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do.
Listen,
I just want to parlay.
Listen,
you can play for the pizza.
Henson, what was your favorite city?
For the whole thing.
Yeah,
what was your favorite city to go to when you were in the NBA? Miami. Was Miami your spot or no?
Now look, when LeBron was in Miami, it was popping. It was a crazy time down there. But Toronto was probably
really.
Yeah, Toronto was good, man. It's a melting pot. We'll just call it that. A nice melting pot.
Okay.
A lot of mixtures of things and ladies and events and things, and yeah, it's fun.
Listen, we got to talk about Illinois. We got to talk about Tennessee. We got to talk about Iowa State. All of that is coming up next after the break.
The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 all through the NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you get up to $1,500 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Most importantly, we do have some fun stuff coming for the conference tournaments and especially for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boost, and what I love the most, a nice parlay boost for anything you could possibly imagine betting on in the NCAA tournament, from odds and getting an at-large bid to Final Four futures to the highest seed to make to the Sweet 16. I'm calling it right now. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet for your March Madness needs. So go download the BetMGM app, use the code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request: the best way to support the Field of 68 and our content you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the pod, like and share the YouTube videos, tell your friends about us. It helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back to the Field of 68 After Dark. It is Saturday night, round 2 of the NCAA tournament, day 1 of round 2 of the NCAA tournament. We had some crazy results. I want to start with Illinois here. It wasn't really the most unexpected result, but Terrence Shannon goes for 30 points, 4 boards, and 4 assists. He's playing as well as anybody in college basketball right now. Marcus Domask has 22 and 7 coming off of his triple-double. I know it was Duquesne. I know that they were the 6th seed in the A10 tournament. I know that all of that context in there. This was a dominant performance, a dominant win, and T.O., I don't know how many teams right now are scarier than this Illinois team.
Not many, because here's the thing: when you play Illinois, all those individual scores, it completely takes coaching out. Like, there's nothing that Dambrot could have done today. Like, he's Underwood's putting guys on an island, saying my guy is better than your guy, and I'm not going to let you interfere with how good my players are. It is such a luxury as a head coach to be able to do that. And he has 2, and at times 3 and 4 guys that have that ability. I would qualify Dane Danger in there sporadically. Doesn't do it all the time, but he goes up against a slow-footed big, he can go. Coleman Hawkins is just – he's the best prospect on that team as far as I'm concerned, outside of Terrence Shannon, the way he's played here lately. But, they're scary, and they take coaching out of the equation, which is even scarier if you're an opposing head coach.
We've talked about them a lot. They're finally starting to live up to what they can be. I said last night that they're going to eventually have a good first half, which they did today. And that Illinois train is starting to pick up steam, and it's starting to get rolling. And it's kind of giving me shades of UConn, how they started rolling late, and you know, I think they can make a deep run.
Listen, Terrence Shannon was the second best player in the country before all the legal stuff.
He was.
Kept him off, right? Suspended him. He had, 3-week break, month break? Comes back.
I think it was 8 games.
Yeah,
Terrence Shannon could play in an NBA game
today
and be effective.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Now, again, is he guarding at the same level maybe as before? No, but, man, he's just as effective offensively in every way. Nobody else has somebody like Terrence Shannon. Nobody in this tournament. That's the difference. So Domask has been a perfect complimentary second guy. Coleman Hawkins doesn't have to do much other than, again, step out, make a three, be good defensively, be versatile. Like, they're good. I mean, again, they're good enough to beat anybody.
Yeah.
What would you compare them to?
I said that they remind me of the last two Miami teams, 2022, 2023. When Miami was a 10 seed that made it to the Elite Eight, when you predict them, what 2 seed did they beat? Kansas? And you had them beaten Kansas, right? Who'd you have them beat in 2022?
It was Houston.
It was Houston, yeah. So, and then 2023 when they made the Final Four. And what I mean by that is they have multiple different guys that can win a game just because of how good they are, right? You don't have to scheme anything for them. You don't have to call any plays for them. You don't have to run all this elaborate stuff. Like watching them run offense versus watching UConn or Creighton run offense, it's totally different things, right? Illinois doesn't run. They don't really run anything. They just kind of say, all right, your turn. Do him. All right, Terrence, your turn. Get this rebound. Just go.
Which I don't love. I don't love that. I don't love that type of offense. Especially when you get similar talent.
But it works, and it eliminates the need for the concern that you have is a valid one. They don't really have a natural point guard. But it doesn't really matter because they just go one-on-one. They space the floor. There's shooters all around. You can't load up. They put them on an island. And they just say go. And it works because they have 4 guys that can do it.
I just wonder if at some point it's going to bite them in the ass.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it probably will. But you know what? Brad Underwood's in the Sweet 16 for the first time since, 2000 for Illinois? When was the last time Illinois was in this? 19 years.
I mean, Trevor, our producer, was in diapers.
That's right, 2005. It was the year they made it to the national title game.
He was 9.
Yeah.
He was 9 in diapers.
Trevor was still in diapers.
It worries you a little bit though, because you do need a point guard to set the table, to calm everybody down. If you don't have a point guard to do that, when you come against these, I think it could be a problem.
Trust me, I get that, but
yeah.
Also, Illinois is in the Sweet 16.
Right.
Like they're now playing with house money.
You're right.
They are. They're like John Henson just hitting the parlay. They could just roll it on up. And if they beat, they're going to get Iowa. They got Iowa State coming up next, right?
Yeah.
If they beat Iowa State and you're in the Elite Eight, then it does. Okay, yeah, you might lose to UConn. You know what? A lot of people are probably going to lose to UConn.
No,
so
if you get past Iowa State, it's a hell of a year. It's already been a good year.
Yes.
With everything they went through too. With Shannon,
I think it's more than a good like this. At this point,
been a good year. Yeah.
You lose to Iowa State. It's still been a great year for Illinois basketball. No. Trevor doesn't want to hear that, but it is what it is.
Trevor had a great stat. It was since January 1st. Is that right, Trevor? Since January 1st, the number 1 offense in the country is Illinois. The number 1 defense in the country is Iowa State.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're playing on.
That's Trevor Valise, ladies and gentlemen.
Next Thursday.
Out of diapers, Trevor Valise.
They're playing next Thursday.
Out of diapers, Trevor Valise.
That's fresh out.
Got anything on the Iowa State win? They beat Washington State. Iowa State scored 6 points in the first 11 minutes. They ended up scoring 67. They advanced past Washington State. I actually fell asleep during that game. Right there.
That was the game. You nodded off.
Look, these chairs are comfortable. And they are dangerous. T.O. got caught. Trevor got caught. I got
I'm
caught.
okay. I'm the only one, I think.
It is what it is. Tennessee.
I mean, Henson didn't have to get caught. He just wasn't here.
Beats Texas. Rick Barnes makes it back to the Sweet 16, gets revenge on the school that fired him. Henson, I know you love the Vols.
I love the Vols. They're a team that I think fits the profile to win a championship. Texas is a feisty team. They muck the game, but defensively they have some good guards. You know, not necessarily looking for the next year. I think Texas could be really, really good. But Tennessee's on a mission. Got a little scary down the stretch. They got lucky because they missed 2 layups to tie the ball game. But sometimes that's what works in this. You know, that's how this thing works in March Madness, and survive and advance, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, they didn't play great.
No.
And you need that. At some point, have that kind of crap game where you don't play great, you don't execute, you don't make shots, and you find a way to win. Because you're not – UConn did it last year. They played well for 6 straight games. Generally, you know this. You're going to have a bad game. Have it. Find a way to win.
You want to have it early, too.
And win a game in the tournament like that, where you've got to win a close game so you know you can. Because a lot of these guys haven't really done it at Tennessee. Dalton Connect hasn't done it.
It's the definition of survive in advance, right? Like that's why this tournament is kind of fluky. That's why it's so hard to say, like, the team that wins the NCAA tournament is the best team in college basketball. No, it's the team that got the most breaks in this 6-game runoff of, what do we call them? It's 6 one-game tournaments.
Yep, it is. Here's the thing. Dalton Connect ends up with 18 points, and he didn't shoot the ball very well. I don't think anybody on Tennessee would have had that last year. That's the difference this year and last year. In a rock fight, who's going to get you 15 to 18? This year, Dalton Connect can get you 15 to 18. That's where they're good. Credit to Texas. Tough out for them. But I thought going into this game it was going to be another guy's. It was going to be another guy's game. And Tobe Awaka came in, played well. Jonas Adu, who I think is one of the more underrated defenders in college basketball. I thought he played well. I'm still kind of waiting for Ziegler and Vescovy to have this 15-point game, and they're just not doing it. So if they get that, it's a bonus.
Yeah, that Midwest region, guys, if Purdue can get past Utah State, you got Purdue, Gonzaga, you have Tennessee, Creighton, it's in Detroit. That looks like that might be the best region. It's going to be hard to top that. Yeah, it'll be hard to top that. All right, we got about 45 seconds left here. We got about a minute left here. Come back tomorrow. What are we going to do this year? We'll figure it out right now. We'll figure it out live on the air. 8:30
What's the first
tomorrow,
game?
11:30 Eastern time, 8:30 Pacific time. We're going to be live with our pregame show tomorrow. John Henson has already promised.
Will you be here?
Show up.
I will 100% be in the building. Rain, sleet, shine, margarita, whatever. I'll be here.
You know what? So
rain, snow, sleet, shine,
rain, snow, sleet, shine, margarita, espresso martini. I'll be here.
You had a selfie from last night.
Yeah.
With what was that, like a bologna sandwich?
I had a selfie with a ham sandwich on my phone. Ham sandwich at 5:30. I was probably sending it to someone to prove I was in bed. So let's leave it at that.
Just bring the ham sandwich with you next time.
I will.
It's a solid breakfast.
Listen, I know it costs $17 at the shop downstairs, but I put it on the room. We'll worry about it when I leave.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Listen, this has been the Field of 68 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, hang out for about 5 more minutes. We got to do Toast of the Night. We got to take a quick look at what's happening tomorrow. But for Terrence Oglesby, for Jeff Goodman, for John Henson, my name is Rob Dauster. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night, midnight, once again. We're back on YouTube for the afters. We're going to be quick here, guys, because it's been a long day. It's been a long week. Some of us are tired. Some of us are hungry. Some of us are grumpy. Jeff Goodman.
I am grumpy
He's
right
very
now.
grumpy. I want to start with this. The games tomorrow. We got some interesting ones, okay? I'm very curious to see what happens in the 4-12 matchups. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. It's Alabama, Grand Canyon. We got James Madison, Duke. But things start off Colorado, Marquette, 9:10 a.m. Pacific time, right around lunchtime, noon on the East Coast. Jeff, what do you like about that matchup?
I mean, the point guard matchup. How can you not, right? I mean, KJ Simpson's gone under the radar all year long.
The entire Colorado team's been under the radar.
They have. And again, part of it is deservedly so.
Sure.
Pac-12 has sucked.
Yeah.
It's past your bedtime. I mean, let's face it, you're not staying up for a lot of those games.
That's a fact.
And going against Tyler Kolek in his second game back, he looked awesome in his first game. That's as good a matchup as you're going to find. I mean, two top 10 point guards in the country, and I expect Marquette to win this game.
Yep. Vulnerable spot, though. I mean, there are pros on Colorado's team, and there's not just one of them. There's potentially 3 of them. So I think there's a lot of talent. There's as much talent on that one team. Anybody in the Big East outside of UConn, in my opinion. So this is a high-level game to start out the day. It'll be 9-10 here. Start off with a bang.
Game you're looking forward to the most tomorrow?
I mean, I'm a bad guy to ask. I think you look at Clemson-Baylor. I think Clemson has a shot. I really do. I think they do. The other one, I'm really intrigued with Texas A&M Houston, and then Grand Canyon and Alabama. I think Grand Canyon has the horses to keep up with Alabama. I think they're every bit as athletic, and I'm curious to see how it's going to go.
Henson's
I'm going to take a little bit of, depending on what happens later, I'm going to take a little bit of my winnings, and I'm going to hammer the Grand Canyon team total over. I don't even know what it is. I think it's 81. I just got to – I saw them play. It doesn't matter what it is. I think that's going to be a 90-plus game for both teams.
Yeah.
Alabama's fine with that. So I think Grand Canyon is too.
So here's my prediction, Jeff. James Madison wins outright. Grand Canyon wins outright.
Yale wins outright.
Ooh.
Yale wins. Danny Wolf. Going to be a tough matchup for Jalen D.
It really will be.
Going to be a tough matchup. And those Yale guards, as we saw, they can make shots. San Diego State's cannot. They don't make shots. They're not big, strong, athletic guards. I don't know. I think Yale can pull the upset again. They got Auburn. Now I think they get the cream of the crop in the Mountain West.
They have to hit shots over the top against San Diego State because position-wise, San Diego State's elite.
Utah State, Purdue. Any chance Utah State can get this win?
I think Purdue's locked in. I think it is a potential scary matchup. I'm definitely since this is sponsored by BetMGM and Mandalay Bay, it's definitely stay away. Stay away because Utah State has the big to kind of make Zach Edey work a little bit, and they have the guards and they have the belief, and they got the coach. It's boiling. I think they're a live dog, but I think Purdue's ready.
Yeah. All right. Toast of the night. Goodman, start us off.
I'm going, honestly, with the NC State fan base.
There we go.
You've taken a lot of shit over the years, rightfully so, for me and other people, because you haven't had a lot to celebrate. Honestly, you haven't. You've lost to him, probably lost to him.
Definitely lost
You
to
pretty
him.
much lost to everybody. But now you get a Sweet 16 appearance in an unlikely time. So I toast to the NC State fan base. Kevin Keats, 3 more years, lifetime contract.
3 more years.
It's amazing.
3 more years. Henson.
Also, I think this could maybe be a springboard for NC State to kind of level up a little bit as well. A little consistency with the coaching now. I'm going to go Kusnard. We saw the stat on TV. Don't know what the stat is, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, and Reggie Miller are up there with him.
And you passed them both.
So, yeah, he passed them both. So he gets the toast of the month at this point.
we saw a stat on TV.
We don't know what it is.
We don't know what the stat was, but he's just better than
he was above 2 of the greatest basketball players ever in college basketball history.
Yeah.
So
most points through 2 games, right? That what you said? Yeah.
In Pac-12 history, which that's a record. Records
stand
are always
forever.
going to be broken. That record will never, ever.
Well, maybe the Pac-12 will come back
broken.
one day.
Steph Curry's not coming back.
You never know.
You never know.
It's college basketball.
I'm going to toast Gonzaga and Nolan Hickman for turning into that dude. Finally, turning into that dude. We've always kind of felt like he had it in him. But Gonzaga, an impressive performance. Not the deepest team, but deeper than Kansas today, and they have enough. They have enough.
Caleb Love. Caleb Love got Arizona back to the Sweet 16. He took a lot of heat last season. Arizona took a lot of heat last season. Tommy Lloyd took a lot of heat last season. He hit a couple big shots. He got them to a point where they're 1 win away and 1 North Carolina win away from getting the matchup that all of us want.
Oh.
John Henson is taking the PJ out to LA for to be able to go watch those
I'm going to be
games.
taking the Southwest Business Select. but I'm going to be on the jet. They don't need to know what kind of jet. I'll be on the jet.
There you go. Listen, this has been the Field of 68 After Dark. We're going to be live tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m. for a pregame show, and we'll be live again right around midnight at the end of the games. It's going to be a little bit TBD like it was tonight. We didn't want to jump on live and start going right when the end of the best game of the day was happening. So tomorrow, playing around midnight-ish, somewhere in that area if you're on the East Coast, 9 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. Field of 68 After